Hello and welcome to Loving Me, Myself, and Life with me, Jody Misiak. We are on the last episode of You Matter Too. Thank you so much for being here. If you didn't listen to the other episodes, that's totally okay. They can stand alone by themselves. But if you would like to, hear a little bit more about why you matter, go check out the other episodes as well. Today, we're going to talk about being a happy person. Last month, I talked all about finding your way back to happy. This episode, I really want to kind of dive more deeper into this and share habits, simple things you can do or stop doing. Sometimes it's adding and sometimes it's subtracting. So I'm going to share a few things that you can start doing. Now, they don't all have to happen at once. Do the things that feel right, and you might already be doing some of them. I'm going to be sharing simple things you can do right now, today, to start really connecting to yourself to naturally be happy, to be a happy person. First off, and this one was tough for me, so hang onto your seats and just be okay. Take a breath. Stop doing everything for everyone. Stop bending over backwards to please others. So it's, when somebody's like, hey, can you do this? And you just drop everything and go. Or, just doing everything to make people happy. I did this for so many years. Thankfully, I also have a stubborn side where I had dreams and goals and they kind of kept me moving forward. As I look back into my past, I'm like, oh my goodness, thank goodness I'm stubborn. But for reals, I would know what people needed me to say and I'd say it, even when it wasn't aligned with who I really am. And in fact, I actually lost who I was in that hot mess because I was a hot mess. I was disconnected from my personal values because I was constantly taking care of other people or even just saying things so I'd make other people happy. And the thing is, when we do this all the time, then we lose ourselves and we use up energy and don't have any left for ourselves. So yes, of course, there's people in our life that we want to do things for and we want to take care of them and we want to please others, right? We want to make others happy. And for the longest time, I actually got happiness, or I thought my happiness really came out of making others happy. So I remember growing up, or even in my 20s, I remember doing things for family to feel happy. And then I realized, wait a second, that's not making me feel happy. Because then if they're not happy about what I did, then I was like, oh, so my happiness started relying on other people's happiness. And like I mentioned last month, happiness is an inside job. So obviously love the ones around you, but remember to take care of you and that you matter too. So it's having this balance. Everything in life is really a balance. So just stop and take care of you too. And a big one of that is putting yourself on your to-do list. Or if somebody asks, if you already have plans to do something for you, and this other thing is not dire, like life-altering thing, if you have a toddler or a baby and all of a sudden they need you, things change, right? But then it's getting support. So as long as nothing's dire, make you a commitment. So if you have a plan to do something for you, do it. I remember when I used to have a plan for a me day and then something would come out of the woodwork. Somebody would ask, hey, you want to hang out? And I'd always say yes because I want to hang out. But I had to find a balance between, yeah, we can hang out, but also finding that time for me. So if I am going to change plans, it's to make sure that I'm also taking care of myself in those change plans. So again, this is kind of like a big one. And I know I started right off the gate of some heavy hitters, but being mindful of how much energy you put out towards others, especially about pleasing others. I'm a recovering people pleaser, so I get this one on so many levels. Okay. This one too, I think all of them are actually been a challenge for myself. So you're in good company. Okay. So the next one, make peace with being misunderstood. Okay. I've been embracing who I am for the past like really doing it for over 5 years, probably more now. Actually, it will be more. I will be more about 6, 7, where I started to finally grow some legs and really take action out of a place of who I really am. And it feels good. It really does. The thing is, I had to do a lot of things that people didn't understand. And it's being okay with them not understanding. Like, you could probably talk and share and try and persuade them or get them on your side forever, but they might just not get what you're trying to do, because we all see things differently. We all have different dreams. We all have different outlooks. We all have these different ideas about life. So what I see in one way might not be what you see, and that's okay. But to try and get everybody on like your side and like why you're living a certain way, it could be your lifestyle, plant-based eating, vegan, vegetarian, meat eater, whatever it is, whatever you're trying to do with your life. People might not understand it, and that's okay. When you show up as you, it can feel scary, and people might not always get that, like that it's you, especially if they've grown up with you and you're finally finding your voice and your person that you've always been, that kind of fell between the cracks of life, society expectations, and family expectations, and all this other stuff that happens in life. And you're finally finding your voice again and taking steps towards living your life authentically and embracing who you really are. So in that change, as scary as it is, some people might not understand why you're changing or why you're living a certain way. But the thing is, it doesn't truly matter what other people think, as long as you are doing what feels true to your personal values. Obviously, as long as it's not hurting anybody else, right? So you're going to get misunderstood. So it's making peace with that. And I know it can be tricky, but start small. Maybe you're trying something new, a hobby, a lifestyle change. You can either share it or not. And if you do share it, try to be mindful. Don't over-explain it. Just say, hey, I'm doing great. I've decided to do this because it makes me feel better. So for me, I am fasting, and I've decided to do this because it makes me feel so much better. I have energy, and it really just helps balance my hormones. But also, I didn't have to explain all that. I could have said, yeah, I'm fasting today. It's cool, or just in general, not share anything, depending on who I'm with. So you get to decide how much you share about your own person, because what you're doing with your life is nobody else's business. And I've shared about that already. So we're not going to go into that again, because that was in the first one of this month. So episode 1, if you didn't listen to it yet. So let's get on to the next one. Be content with things as is. So this needing for more, to feel like you need to fix yourself or to change to be this person that you want to be. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be, more energetic or really whatever it is you want and what your heart says. But the most important thing is that it is your heart that's saying it, not society, expectations and things like that. But it's being okay with right here, right now. Here's the truth. You don't need fixing. You are beautiful. You are amazing as you are in this moment. And when you learn to embrace this moment, embrace who you are right now and how life is right now, as crappy as it might feel, there's challenges around you. There's all this stuff, and it might feel heavy. It's really about focusing on the things that are going right. And how do you do this? Gratitude. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to take long. It can just be as simple as, waking up in the morning and thinking about 3 things you're grateful for. You can write them down. You can think about them. Same with at night. You could just think about 3 things that you're grateful for. Heck, man, you can do more than 3. And you can write them down. It's whatever feels good to you. But it's leaning on gratitude when you want more. So there's nothing wrong with wanting more. But when you're constantly focusing on what's missing, what's lacking in your life, you're never going to be happy. So it's about like, oh my goodness, I love my life because of this, this, and this. Does your life have to be perfect? Heck no. I don't think anybody's life is perfect. I don't know if I've met one single person that's like perfect, like everything flows every single day of every single like minute and moment of their life, because it's been with our struggles and challenges that we learn to grow and we get to know ourselves better. Now, that doesn't mean you can't be happy and life can't be flowing, like you can be tapped into flow, this place of just everything feeling like it's moving and you're not pushing and shoving. But then we have to get out of the way to do that, to allow life to flow through us and with us. And part of it is being okay with how things are right now in this moment. And again, you can plan and have goals to move forward. And it is about getting, building a deeper relationship with yourself and getting to know what your needs are and wants are. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's learning to be okay with what is now. I hope that makes sense. The next is accept that some days are just going to be bad. I have always thought that once I became empowered, that I would be, yay, I'm at the top. Nothing is going to stand in my way. And it was when I was going through the empowerment coaching program that I was on this, like, I'm going to get to the top and it's going to be amazing. And then I realized that you're going to fall down sometimes and then you're going to pick yourself back up. But the more you learn to pick yourself up, the more you create beautiful practices to help support you in the hard times, the easier it is to flip it around. But it's also okay to just have a crappy day. There's been definitely times where I'm like, oh, I'm not feeling great. Maybe my mood's just right off. And it's not about fixing or shoving or pretending everything's okay. Again, it's being content with things are, right? How things are in the moment. So maybe you're not feeling good. Now, sometimes, a little something can change it up. Maybe you just need another couple hours of sleep. Or, the next night, maybe just hopefully you can get a full night's sleep. Or throwing on music, meditating, move your body, going for a walk. But sometimes it's just okay to give yourself permission to be like, ooh, this is hard. This is heavy. And there's times in life where it's so heavy. And it's okay to allow yourself to have a day. I've had them where I'll stay in bed. Like, I'm just going to watch some TV today, or I'm going to watch a Hallmark movie. Whatever it is I'm in the mood for. I usually watch something light because then it helps me, focus on other people, but in a light way instead of heavy. It kind of allows me to breathe through the heavy. And I'm not talking about doing this for weeks or months or like a year, but it's allowing yourself, it could be an hour, 2 hours. You can have a whole day, PJ day, to just be. And there's no guilt or shame. Just like, I'm going to take a day. Take a me day, a personal day, a mental day, whatever you want to call it. It's yours. Because some days are just bad. As a woman, my hormones can have, their moments. And sometimes I haven't done the things I needed to do to be really centered through my cycle. And then I'm really growly. And there's been days where I text my husband and say, look, I'm not in a good mood today. I'm going to have to stay away because I'm just going to be growly. So it's knowing these things. And then it saves us some time of me just yelling and biting his head off for no reason. So am I perfect? Does it always happen this way? No, but it's finding those moments and trying to do the best you can in those moments. Remember, practice makes better. Now, next one is do one thing at a time. Okay, so I love that I had all my notes written out before doing this podcast. Okay, because today I literally thought, oh my goodness, I should do my nails while I'm recording this podcast. I can do 2 for 1. Now, I would never, ever have thought of doing that ever because I'm very much about doing one thing at a time. But they are calling for a storm to come in, and I don't know how much of a storm it's going to be. And I really want my nails painted for the weekend because I have an event to go to. And I was worried that the power might go out. And then as I'm thinking about this, I'm like, oh my goodness, Jody, like you can't multitask, man. So I love that this is actually in this episode because we multitask a lot, especially women. I find we feel like it's something we can do. Like, oh, if I can do 2 or 3 things at a time, I am so awesome. I'm so powerful. Or, I'm Wonder Woman. But the thing is, I've learned over the past few years, or even like 5 or 6, that multitasking, like then you're only half-assing anything. And well, then you're not putting all your attention in one thing. And especially over the year or 2 now, I am so focused on one task and I get so much more done. I really do. That now, like I haven't multitasked much at all because I don't like to. Even if I'm checking my emails before I relax at night, I sometimes do it while I'm watching a show going, what am I doing? I'm not taking any of this show in and I'm missing out on the benefits that I get from watching a show and just turning my brain off because it's not turned off now. I'm looking at emails or checking things or planning the next day, looking at my calendar, whatever it is. And then I realize, wait, let's pause the show. I can wrap up what I'm doing and then relax. But because I don't multitask much anymore, when I have tried, it's a complete disaster. Like I remember, I think it was last week, I was rushing through making meals in the kitchen and I was making mistakes left, right, and center because I was hustling. I wasn't present in the moment. I was thinking about like all the things I needed to do after. So even just thinking about things can be multitasking. And I remember just being all over the place. The other thing is I also cook with my intuition. So if it's something new that I'm doing, I might not even be able to have a conversation with my husband. Like if he comes in and he's talking, I'm like, can you give me a few minutes? Like I need to really think about what I'm doing here. It really depends. Now, if it's a recipe I've done a lot, then I'll just be on autopilot doing the things I always do. But again, when I go into autopilot, that is when things can go sideways because I'm not really present anymore. I'm just on autopilot. So keep that in mind. Do one thing at a time. The more you do, you're just like all over the place, right? I know because I've been there. You're just like, wow. And then I feel like a chicken with my head cut off. Like I'm just all over the place and I don't love it. And like I said, now that I've really focused on just one thing, I feel really centered, more calm and awesome and just really connected to the moment. Because when you're doing all the things, like where are you supposed to focus? All over the place. So just one thing at a time. Here's one that definitely has been a challenge for myself is to learn to laugh at yourself. So, you screw up, you make a mistake. And it's just like, okay, cool. Like, what can I learn from this? But it's also kind of laughing at it and not in like a cruel, like, haha way. But just being cool that like not taking life so seriously. I grew up pretty early because at 10, I was pretty much watching my siblings and making supper and things like that. So I kind of put the adult hat on way early. And it's actually kind of funny because I feel more like a kid now than I did when I was in my teens. I remember hanging with some people going, oh, I can't hang out with you. You're too immature. And now I look back going, oh my goodness, what was I thinking? They were being themselves. They were being at their age. They were enjoying life. And I was taking it way too seriously. So really it's about learning to laugh at yourself, but it's also just don't take things so seriously. Life is meant to be fun and enjoyed. And when you focus more on that and you can laugh and have fun, then it's really, that's how you really connect to your happy person inside. Okay, the next one, and oh my goodness, super guilty of this one. Stop comparing your inside to everybody else's outside. I know I've mentioned this before, but I'm going to do it again because it's super important. I used to scroll on Facebook or any other social media, and I would see other people's lives, and then that would just make me feel horrible. Like I'm not doing enough. I'm not my place in life. All these things. It would make me feel horrible inside. But the thing is, I was looking at everybody's world outside. Not everybody shares everything. And it's really important to remember that when you're on social media, that people are only sharing those moments they want to share. And it's not their whole life. And we all go through our own personal struggles. And it's really important to just remember to look inward, because that's really the only yardstick, meter stick you need to use. It's really about growth. How are you growing? How are you different than yesterday or a week ago, a month ago, a year ago? I look back and think like, wow, I've changed so much over the last decade. So much. That is where we look. We look inside. When we start looking outward, it really messes with us and it can make us feel depressed. It can feel like life is lacking so much. Speaking of like being content with what is, when we look at other people's lives, that's usually when we see the most of like, oh, I should be doing this. I should be doing this. Oh man, I should be further ahead. All these things can really disconnect us from being happy. So when you really start looking inward and stop comparing yourself, your inside to other people's outsides, you can really allow yourself to be happy with who you are and the journey you're on. Now, last but not least, stop putting energy into trying to be happy. Now, this might sound counterintuitive because we're talking about being a happy person. But the more we focus on the thing that's lacking in our life or the thing we want so much, we put so much energy into that. So I've just shared 7 things you can start doing that are within your control to do. Things that can really just start making you feel happier. Now, will every day be perfect? Heck no. We're human beings. It's not about being perfect. It's about taking little steps to just, remember I said, like, compare yourself to yesterday or a week ago, a month ago, whatever it is that you want to compare to. And just see the growth that you're already doing. You're listening to this podcast. So you're doing things, and that's amazing. So celebrate that. When we focus on what's lacking and we're trying to do these things, it can take away from all the other things we can be doing. I really hope that makes sense. So again, 7 things I've shared, little things that you can change and tweak. Take it one step at a time. Maybe take this list and for once a month or once a week, really focus on the one thing and build up like gradually. I have tried to do all things all the time, all at once. And you know what happens? Nothing. I get overwhelmed, doesn't all work out, and then I feel like a failure because I couldn't do it all. It's taking it one step at a time. Maybe today it's just saying no to somebody else's plans and yes to you. Or saying no to somebody else and saying yes to you. Maybe it's just embracing who you are and not explaining yourself to other people. Be like, this is me. Hi. Or, just focus on gratitude today. Being content with what is right now. Maybe it's just focusing on doing one thing at a time. Be like, okay, I'm going to put this multitasking tool that I have over here in a box. And I'm only doing one thing at a time. Or maybe it's having some fun and stop taking yourself so seriously. Or maybe it's really being mindful of when you're comparing yourself to others. Whatever it is, just give yourself a hug. Take it one step at a time. And remember that you matter too. This is for you. And it's so important for you to know this. And just take it one step at a time. And when you slowly make this a part of your life, these little simple changes, you won't even think about being a happier person. You'll just be a happier person. And will you be a happy person every day? Probably not. But the more you do these little things, the more you can just naturally go into this happy, awesome life. See, the thing is, when we slowly change little things in our life, we're not forcing or shoving. We're just making little changes that become new habits, things we don't think about. So I make my bed every morning. I don't even think about it. I just make it. I brush my teeth every morning. I don't think about it at all. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, did I brush my teeth? Talk about not being in the present moment, by the way. Autopilot. But the thing is, we do things every single day without giving it much thought. So it might take a little bit of thought to change these habits, to really make them yours and put them into your life. But the more you do them, the more they just become the way of your life. And that is how you live and you be a happy person. That's how, if you talk to people, they have things in life that they don't even think about. They just do. My meditation, tapping, yoga, all those things. Now there's some days, I'll be honest, some days I do think about it and I'm like, oh, do I really want to get on my yoga mat? But then there's others, like it just happens. I think it's actually with the change of the cold weather where I don't want to be, on my mat kind of thing. But the thing is, we do things without even thinking about them. They become our life, our world, and just what we do, the things we do. So here's to you being a happy person. You've got this. Take it one step at a time. And remember that you matter too. Thank you so, so much for being here. If you've loved this episode or this whole series, please share it with others. And follow the podcast so you know when the next one's up and ready to go. Next month, we're talking about self-care. Now, I'm not talking bubble baths and the spa. I'll probably mention it a little bit, but self-care is so much more than that. So we're going to really talk into that. How do we do that in the busy holiday season or when life just gets busy in general? And it's going to be a good time. So come back next week for another beautiful, loving conversation. Thanks again for being here. I am so grateful for you. Take care and have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye for now.